Today we're talking about the box. I'm going to numbers. The numbers. We're at the box office, and Quiet Place Part 2 is breaking records like I expected. Cruella actually slightly overperformed the 20 million I gave it, said it would. But again, I forgot this is Memorial Day, so it's gonna open. It's gonna a 4-day weekend. So yep, you know. So we have Spiral was actually didn't do that bad. Spiral goes 2.2 million, grossing to Dell. Godzilla vs. Kong is of course losing feeders to of course dual releases. Wire actually had an increase over last week despite losing feeders. Those Who Must Be Dead with Angelina Jolie is not selling except for Mortal Kombat. But today we're talking about A Quiet Place Part 2 first. So Quiet Place Part 2, I think the only logical movie to compare it to right now would be the first movie. So yeah, compare this performance to other movies. The only logical one that we compare it to right now is A Quiet Place Part 1. So this is the week, again, in comparison to Quiet Place Part 2, is actually doing slightly worse than the first movie. But again, A Quiet Place Part 1 did not release over Memorial Day weekend. So yeah, it does have that Memorial Day weekend factor. It's projected to gross 58 million, which is huge, actually, in terms of a box office, because, considering that it's also released on Paramount Plus, you expect people to watch it on streaming. So yeah, so Quiet Place Part 2, is doing pretty well compared to the other release, which is, of course, Disney's Cruella, which, of course, we only went over yesterday how the movie somehow has perfect reviews on Rotten Tomatoes, which is why people don't like Rotten Tomatoes anymore. So yeah, Cruella, no one, it has grossed $47 million worldwide, so it's not really doing too well internationally either, as well. So we gotta compare it to, of course, the movie to, that's the movies I put in here, popular comparisons. Quiet Place Part 2, Read About Angel, Dark Phoenix, the movies that I all put in. So Read About Angel, they already put them in as popular comparisons because nobody gives a crap about this movie. Maleficent, yeah, I can put Maleficent in as well. And Birds of Prey, okay? So we have these movies here. So Cruella is doing far worse than all of them. Actually, only 21 billion. That's completely awful. They don't have the Saturday and Sunday domestic sales updated, but considering the fact that Cruella is doing worse than all of these movies is just completely hilarious. And Cruella has $100 million budget, so so it's doing worse than all these movies. It's doing worse than Joker, which is the movie that they continue comparing this movie to is Joker. We can actually show you Joker. Actually, can show you Joker's sales. But Disney's gonna somehow make it do like Melissa Mistress of Evil. Well, it did horrible at first at the box office, but it magically started doing well at the box office. Yeah, we can have a comparison with Joker. And yeah, the movie isn't really doing too well against Joker. Yeah, Joker grossed $96 million domestically. And yeah, there's a reason at Labor Day weekend, so it'll probably end up around 27 million on 4-day weekend. But that's not good for a Disney movie. And people say, but Disney Plus, okay? But people are coming back to the theaters. I saw Quiet Place Part 2. People are coming back to the theaters. A majority of people wanted to see this movie in the theaters, which was 61% of people. Cool. So, I guess, yeah, we have Cruella, which is doing just completely horrible at the box office. Not surprised at all, considering how bad the movie really is. Ignoring all the fake reviews, all the fake, Disney bot reviews. I bet the movie is probably just another really bad Disney movie. Like most of the movies now are, they're not that great. Which these movies will get Disney's movies will get like perfect reviews by these Disney bots and fanboys, basically. And people are saying, oh, they're just talking about like conspiracy theories. Why are you pushing conspiracy theories on your channel? It's not a conspiracy theory when you have like little Metacritic accounts being made to just review Cruella and give it a perfect 10 on Dell. And yeah, Quiet Place Part 2, they actually have updated Quiet Place. They haven't updated Quiet Place Part 2's box office daily performance. But yeah, it's doing pretty well at the box office, $48 million here. And yeah, the movie has made $48 million thus far. And I think the only comparison is A Quiet Place Part 1. So yeah, Quiet Place Part 1, we have the daily comparison here, and yeah, it's doing the same as the first. So will it actually pass the first or do below the first? That's gonna be the real thing we're gonna talk about. Will it do worse than the first movie or will it do better than the first movie? And yeah, that's basically about Quiet Place Part 2 and Cruella. So now we're gonna talk about the other movies. I think I'm gonna go to Box Office Mojo because they probably don't have the CD foreign updates. Yeah, because Box Office Mojo at least had the foreign box office updates for some of these movies. Whereas they don't have the full box office update, they just have Quiet Place so far, which according to this is $57 million. I don't know where they got the $57 million from, but the number said $47 million for the weekend. And here, yeah, they don't really have the sales updated for most of these movies yet. So we're gonna go back to the numbers then. Yeah, and hopefully the numbers has international sales. So we have Spiral, well, which has made $26 million worldwide. So it might actually not be a flop. I said Spiral is gonna be a flop. They don't have it. They don't have the full numbers updated yet. But I said Spiral is gonna be a flop, but it's doing better. It's having better ratings than I expected it to be. I thought it would, I thought it would massively go down. It did go down 50%, but it isn't really doing too well at the box office either. As well as Spiral, again, I don't think it's doing too well at the box office. Raya and the Last Dragon, again, not doing too well. $111 million and only $50 million domestically and $60 million internationally. That's not doing and that's considering the movie has a $150 million budget. 125 to $150 million budget. Even a $125 million budget, I think this movie will probably it's still like a massive flop. Okay, now and yeah, Raya is still a massive box office failure. It did have an increase because of Cruella, but I don't really think this movie's gonna do too well in the next coming weeks, considering that there's gonna be more movies coming out, actual movies. Godzilla vs. Kong, could that pass $100 million? It might, considering there's no real major releases in the next couple of weeks. Besides The Conjuring, which I don't think it's good. I think Conjuring is really good compete with A Quiet Place Part 2. We're gonna really see how Quiet Place Part 2 battles against The Conjuring, DreamWorks. No one's watching it, of course. That's not surprising. Angelina Jolie's Those Who Wish Me Dead is flopping. Not surprising as well. Angelina Jolie's in it. She's like one of the worst actresses of all time. In my opinion. There. So next is Mortal Kombat. Mortal Kombat's a flop. Demon Slayer is not on here, so they must have kicked Demon Slayer out of the box office here. They must have kicked Demon Slayer out of theaters, because I don't see Demon Slayer anymore. Demon Slayer was supposed to be like a limited release anyway, so next is Nobody. Nobody, which has made $48 million worldwide. This movie is a big success. Similar to the first John Wick. The first John Wick was a small movie as well, so not surprised as well. This movie has been a success and made like $12 million at the box office, I believe. So, no, not 12 million, like $10 million, $8 to $10 million at the box office. So it's made pretty well. Did pretty well. Nobody did pretty well. So yeah, there we go about the box office. And yeah, some movies don't have the box office updated, like Wrath of Man. I couldn't really find numbers for Wrath of Man. Wrath of Man doesn't really have its box office updated as well. And yeah, the international box office now updated for that movie is like around like $80 million or something. There. Yeah, they don't really have updates on box office Mojo for any movies for some reason. I'll probably come back later. Here. But yeah, they don't really have any updates because yeah, Quiet Place would be here. They also have the MonsterVerse Showdown, Onward versus Comp Opening, Sonic versus Pikachu, and Blumhouse Horror. And yeah, they probably will have Quiet Place Part 1 versus Part 2 very soon. Because they have these showdowns here as well. Godzilla vs. Kong is probably the worst grossing MonsterVerse movie besides King of the Monsters as well. And yeah, it's basically it about this video. Goodbye.